Welcome back to the Capitol Press Room. We have Unshackle Upstate's Brian Sampson joining us. Hi, Brian. How are you?
I'm great, Susan. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, too. So you were at the governor's State of the State last week, and I'm just taking a stab in the dark here, but I'm betting that you heard a lot of things that you applauded loudly for.
Absolutely. You know, we were largely impressed with what we heard. I think the governor is continuing his commitment to, controlling spending and not using taxes and fees as, an opportunity to do revenue. He certainly talked about mandate relief and an up and down vote by the legislature at the end of session, which is something that, we've strongly supported. That's why we created the Let New York Work Coalition with our partners in business, as well as the Conference of Mayors and the school boards and the school superintendents. So we're pleased. Obviously, there's a lot that needs to be done. The budget will hopefully contain the details that we're all waiting to see. And then I guess the game is on from that point.
So, the governor and the legislative leaders and everybody involved came up with a really creative plan in December to fix or reform the tax code. Everyone got a little something, the MTA tax, the manufacturing cut, the money for the hurricane relief. And it was, it was sort of policy speaking, it was a thing of beauty. Okay.
Yeah.
So is there something that all of the governor and the legislative leaders can come up with, a similar sort of piece of policy artwork that would keep the unions relatively happy, but make the pension system predictable and affordable?
We think there is. Again, I referenced our Let New York Work group that we put together, which is really historic when you take a step back and look at it, given the fact that the business community and some of the local government groups were not on the same page with regard to the tax cap last year. But we all realized that, the cap is now done. It's a part of law. We have to move forward. The second piece of that is mandate relief, and obviously a big piece of mandates right now would be the pension system. And so we took a step back and said, okay, what's going on in the rest of the country? Because, we're New Yorkers. We tend to be myopic. We think we do things better than everybody else. But maybe there's somebody out there doing something, a little bit better. And when you look at it, there are other states, Georgia, Michigan, Utah, that are offering what's I guess considered a hybrid plan. So as we look at Tier 6, there are some states that are offering a less generous defined benefit plan. So if you're an employee that wants to have your pension guaranteed and you're willing to put in a little bit more and work a little bit longer, then you can have that defined benefit. But for a younger workforce, where all the studies indicate that they are more concerned about portability and salary than they really are about the future, then let's offer them a defined contribution plan, much like we have in the private sector. Much like, I guess the one that most people would know would be the TIA CREF, where they have...
Well, listen, let me take a quick break, and we'll come back and you'll tell us more, okay?
You got it.
We're apparently having some technical difficulties, but we were supposed to be talking with Brian Sampson about mandate relief. It's one of the things that his organization, Unshackle Upstate, is talking about a lot ever since the tax cap was passed. He's been, a lot of people have been looking toward Albany to see what they could do in terms of pension reform. So in terms of what Sampson wants to do with Unshackle Upstate and Let New York Work, which is a coalition of business, government, and educational organizations, to get to significant mandate relief, this is what they're calling for. Making the pension system predictable and affordable, redefining compulsory arbitration, freezing step increases when contracts expire, which is a direct attack on the Triborough Amendment, something that the governor has said on this program that he would. Hello? Hi, is anybody there? I lost the guest, okay. All right, we're still standing by. I'm still talking, yammering away, in fact, Ed. So anyway, he also wants to establish minimum health insurance contribution levels for employees and retirees and pass legislation that would require a supermajority to enact new unfunded mandates. This is the one that I was really eager to talk with him about because so many lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are very willing to pass mandates, especially if they're popular in their constituencies. So it's something that it'll be a new chapter in Albany if something like that is enacted. And so Brian Sampson is my guest. Are you there, Brian?
I am, Susan.
Oh, you
I'm
are?
Not sure where I'm not sure where I went for a little while, but I'm here.
Okay, I've been here too. So weird. Live radio is weird. So anyway, you were talking about the TIAA-CREF version of a pension system. And, I have that.
Yep.
It's like a 403B, right?
Yeah, it's a 403B, it's a 401k. I mean, it all has different things. But what we're saying is that allow workers to have an option on what they choose to do. If they want to have a defined benefit, then let them have it. But from a taxpayer perspective, from a business community perspective, we have to look for ways to get that burden off of our property taxes. And one of the ways to do that is through a DC plan that people control their investments. It's portable. If they leave state employment, they can take it with them. There's just a lot of better things that can be done. And that long-term guarantee, that long-term drag on taxes and taxpayers would be gone. And we just think that giving people choices and options seems to be something that we heard a lot in 2011. Let's carry that forward in the next Tier 6.
One of the priorities that you guys have that I find fascinating is the one that would require a supermajority to enact new unfunded mandates.
Yeah.
So that they love their mandates, the legislators, and there's sort of a disconnect between the legislators and the mandates that they have proposed, and just the concept of the unfunded mandate. It's like everyone hates the legislature but loves their legislator. So what kind of reaction are you getting from legislators that want this? Do they want this supermajority to enact new unfunded mandates or not?
Well, I'm not sure if they do. When we took a look at this issue, mandates are kind of like the rest of us playing Monopoly, right? I mean, we play Monopoly and we buy these things and it's all fake money and it goes back and forth. And we don't ever worry about it. That's kind of like what mandates are. You sign a law and it gets passed down to local government. You never see it again. You never hear from it again. But there was a cost impact on that. And it was one of the big reasons why we supported the tax cap is that we have known that mandates have been a problem for local government for decades. I mean, going way back in history. Yet what has been done about them? Nothing, and in fact, just the opposite. We've had more and more mandates piled on. What this tax cap allows is for that process to stop, for us to have an honest dialogue about what's going on. How do we make our communities more affordable? How do we provide the best education to our students to prepare them for, a global economy and global competition? How do we continue to get the services, that we've come to expect from our local governments, but do them in an affordable way? And so,
right.
Let
me ask you a quick question.
Yep.
Do you have an example? Can you give us a few examples of mandates, unfunded mandates, that aren't the same old ones that we talk about all the time, including health care and pension?
Sure. You could look at something. This was one that we did a show back in December. A lady called in. Many people may not know that if someone chooses to send their child to a private parochial school, that the local school district still has to provide transportation to that child to go from their home school district to the private school. Now, I don't know why I would think that would be somewhat strange. I mean, if I'm choosing to send my kid to another school, then I should be responsible to get my child to that school and back. It shouldn't be the home school district that would have to do that. So, that's one. When you look at things like on a procurement process, New York State is the only state in the nation that doesn't allow local governments to piggyback off a national contract. New Jersey was one of the last states to do it. Governor Christie just passed a law. So how, take a Staples or some other organization that provides, has facilities across the country, we can't piggyback off those national contracts. New York has to negotiate their own. So you have things like that. Through education, our school board friends and our superintendent friends would talk about 30/20A, the process for removing, a teacher. Very costly, very cumbersome, very intricate.
So there are a bunch of things that can be done that aren't the real hot button stuff. Although they might not save an enormous amount of money, there's still something that you're pushing. I want to thank you so much. I'm sorry about the technical problems, Brian.
Well, that just means you owe me 15 minutes on another show, Susan.
You got it. Thanks a lot.